Hello niece and nephew, this is Uncle Robert. We just heard Intel unveil new plans and the market was ecstatic. Intel was up 7% after market. Let me break down at high level what this is all about and what are the trades that's going to benefit from this. First, Intel announces building 2 new fabs in Arizona for a total of $20 billion. Do you know what takes up most of the $20 billion? Semiconductor equipment. Let's take a listen.
Really, it's a case of doubling down on domestic production capacity, those 2 new plants in Chandler, Arizona.
This is a big opportunity. Uncle Robert have a few high conviction trades to share with you. Please share this video with more friends so they can learn as well. Please remember to like and subscribe. I'm sure you'll like what you're gonna hear. So let's come back later and look at what semiconductor equipment makers are gonna benefit from this. At the same time, we know that Samsung is committed to build a factory up to $17 billion in America. TSM tripled down on the fab in America from $12 billion to $35 billion. In building a fab, there's many companies involved, from construction to gases, supplies, and a lot of stuff. But the bulk of the money is going to be spent on semiconductor equipment, and the lead times for this equipment is very long. Let's take a look at Uncle Robert's favorite play. We have Applied Materials, who is one of the largest semiconductor equipment makers. They make many types of equipments needed for the production plant. At just 27 PE and strong momentum on the chart, even though we're going through a tech rotation, AMAT is strong, hanging in there. The next company that Uncle Robert likes is Lam Research. Lam is slightly smaller than AMAT and recently have undergone a minor correction. This is a great time to get in. Lam at 27 PE is not expensive at all. This is also a favorite for many CNBC contributors. Lam makes semiconductor equipment that etches your wafers or deposit thin films. Next, let's talk about a giant, ASML from Europe. They make a very unique semiconductor equipment that is not replaceable. ASML make huge printers that print design on your chips to form the entire circuitry on the chip. And every fab needs this machine. Lead times are super long and this equipment is super expensive. Many semiconductor equipments are interchangeable. Like if you need a car, you can buy a Honda or a Tesla. And based on the unique needs, ASML can command up to 55 PE. I can only see this going up. Next, let's look at KLA Corporation. This is a slightly smaller equipment manufacturer that does inspection tools. Inspection tools are really important in the production line so that we can weed out defects before they go down the line and cause more damage. At 33 PE, this may have a little bit less upside compared to AMAT or Lam Research. Next up, let's look at Teradyne. Teradyne is a tester equipment maker. Before the chips are sent out of the fab, you need to test them to make sure they're working as per spec. Did you know Auntie Cathy bought a lot of Teradyne? But with the recent tech correction, Teradyne has been pulled down tremendously. It is now sitting at 26 PE. This is not a unique equipment maker, so I think this has still room to run, but I'm not sure if this will beat AMAT or Lam Research. But this is still a very good bet, because Auntie Cathy is in there. And I believe in Auntie Cathy. Last but not least, we have ACLS, ACLS. This is a fairly small company. There are many options for this part of the line, so we can see them commanding a lower PE at 24. Uncle Robert still thinks that all these have upsides, but maybe not as much as AMAT or Lam Research. There are more semiconductor original equipment manufacturers out there, but they're pretty liquid, so I'm not going to recommend them. With Biden's infrastructure bill and a focus on semiconductors due to the recent chip shortage affecting the auto industry, we expect there to be even more spending on semiconductor fabs, bringing manufacturing back to America. All these semiconductor OEMs stand to benefit. Next, Intel talks about good progress on reaching the 7nm tech node, while TSMC is at 5 and Samsung's heading to 3. So we do not know out in time if Intel is going to dethrone AMD, or if Intel is going to take over TSM or Samsung as a main foundry, making chips for Nvidia, making chips for AMD, making chips for Apple M1, making chips for Google, Microsoft. That is a goal. It is out in time.
So there's really some competition that's going to be happening here longer term.
Intel's really cheap right now, below 13 PE.
As you can see, Intel very much the bottom of the pack when it comes to the stock performance.
If you look at the chart, they have not even recovered from the previous highs 20 years ago. If Intel is successful, we can see their PE going closer to TSM, maybe at 30 to 35.
But it now has ground to make up because TSMC has such a lead.
And with that, we'll see Intel stock price at 150 to 175. But that, niece and nephew, maybe 5 to 10 years out. Uncle Robert will not be betting on Intel stock. But one thing for sure, there's going to be extra hype around Intel stock right now. And where would all this money be coming in from? You got that right. With limited funds allocated for semiconductors, money are going to flow out from TSM and AMD into Intel, even though there's nothing wrong at all with TSM and AMD at this point. Intel may never even beat them. So for the short term, Uncle Robert thinks there's going to be slight weakness in both these stocks. Auntie Kathy has been selling TSM for the past many weeks. Maybe she saw this coming. She's always a genius. So in summary, small bet on Intel, lighten on AMD, lighten on TSM, and go in heavy on the semiconductor equipment makers. AMAT, Lam Research, ASML, Teradyne, KLAC, ACLS. There you go. Disclaimer, this is not investment advice, this is just Uncle Robert's own opinion. Please make your own assessment before investing. If you find this useful, please consider sharing with more friends. As always, remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye!